There's another. We'll touch on the other rumors here, but you got to see what's available. And we'll play the devil's advocate. Who wants to play this with me? Then Rock, do you maybe want to do this, or Kevin?
Whatever. Let's do it.
Kevin, you horny for a little? You got a thought?
I was gonna give a hot take.
All right, go.
Hot take, Kevin.
All right. My hot take is that I think that a Tariq Skubal level move is an offseason move for the Orioles, much like it was Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
And I feel like with the uncertainty surrounding not only Burns himself, but obviously Kyle Bradish and John Means and Wells and all these guys who are injured, to me, I agree 100% with Zach here because, we're talking about the Orioles, their guys compared to either Yankees or any, they can go prospect for prospect with anybody for any player if they want to. The Orioles farm system quite literally is not the same than any other farm system. It is a different ball game when you're talking about that group. So when we're talking about the Holidays and the Basallos and the Mayos and all those guys, yeah, Skubal's a heck of a pitcher. And it'd be awesome to see him in Baltimore paired up with Burns for the playoff run. But to me, when the Orioles have more, and I don't want to say they don't have direction right now, but first of all, they've gotten here by trusting in their prospects and not just, shipping off Adley, shipping off Gunnar for other star players at deadlines and making that happen. But also, I think that in some way, shape, or form, the Orioles next year are going to lean more into their youth. They're going to call up a decent amount of these guys, give them regular roles. Some of these vets might be on the way out. And you have more of an idea of who really won't be a part of that group. Again, we said they chose between Ortiz and Westberg. They chose Westberg. Ortiz was used to get somebody. I forget who said it. Having the farm system work I think it was Steve Molesky, who said, have your farm system work for you. Yep. And so to me, when you're talking about this offseason and going out there, maybe getting another high-level start, it could be Skubal, it could be somebody else who hits the market. We know that deadline deals are much more expensive. The Orioles need pitching. I'm not trying to move away from that fact, and Skubal would help that in the best way. But if they acquire a guy who's a number 3 this deadline and then go out there and get another guy next offseason or this offseason, my hot take is that I could see that path happening as opposed to getting that guy right now.
I would agree with you. You got that right.
There's only one issue there, and that's Corbin Burns may not be back in Baltimore next season. We don't know what's going to happen. He's likely going to test free agency. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
And you look at the window you have right now with Corbin Burns. If you want to win a World Series now with him on the mound, you got to try to go out and do it this season with Corbin Burns as your ace, because no guarantee. He could be in a different uniform next season. We don't know what the market is going to look like for Corbin Burns, but I'll tell you this. It is going to be one where it's a high market, and teams are going to throw money at this guy if he does indeed test free agency. So that's something you got to look at. But to your point, Kevin, you look at who the O's could have going forward with potentially, Grayson Rodriguez, a healthy Kyle Bradish when he recovers fully from Tommy John surgery. And if you go out and get a Tariq Skubal, you're in a really good position going forward. But if we're talking about this season with the team you have, with the offense you have, and trying not to waste the years of Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson, the guys you have up in the bigs right now, I really think that you should be all in, make a big move, make a splash here, go all out and try to win a World Series in 2024.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm glad. Thank you for playing devil's advocate with me.
Without you even, I'm sorry.
That's why I love it. I love it because you're bringing up the thought of it, because Orioles fans would be salivating if they're like, oh my goodness, Corbin Burns, Skubal, 1-2 postseason. One guy throws 98 and throws a fastball 60, 70% of the, or I think Skubal, I have it combined between his changeup and his fastballs. Skubal throws 80% heaters and changeups, and they don't hit him. Like, that's the crazy thing. He is that tough to hit. He's that good right now, and he's got good other secondary pitches. He just doesn't have to throw it as much. Having said that, and this is two things I'm going to pull up right now. Gray, great point. The worry is, do you want to pull Padres where they thought Soto was the piece, and then their construction failed? Hold on. Okay. This is the thought process. So if that fails, and you give up some of these guys, and 2 of those players become big-time all-stars, and you're looking at the Nationals, their rebuild is on the rise. James Wood, stud. C.J. Abrams, all-star. Those 2 guys are your foundations moving forward. This is the other part. If the Orioles could get a trade, and Randall, thank you, if they could get Finnegan and Tanner Scott and Weathers, that to me right now for a guy, and you probably would have to give up a package of Kyle Stowers. Maybe Connor Norby's in there because
I'm fine with that.
I think that gives more appeal to me than you are banking that this one player, yes, he could lead to the promised land. But if it happens, imagine last year if you trade for Skubal and he's like Scherzer and gets hurt.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I know you got your hand up like that, like a kid. Here we go.
I do. I wanted to raise, to me, Soto is obviously one of the great offensive players in the league. Not arguing that. Starting pitching, an ace of a starting pitcher is much different than going out and trading a haul for Juan Soto. Obviously, you're going to have to give up a lot to get a Juan Soto type of guy. What's it happened twice already? So teams have to give up prospects to get a Juan Soto type player. Teams are going to have to give up a lot to get a Tarek Skubal. So the Orioles, it's like we're talking about the untouchables and who we like and who we think should stay in Baltimore. You're going to have to probably part ways with one of the guys we consider untouchable or one of those guys we like if you want a Tarek Skubal and if you want a 1-2 punch heading into the postseason this year, 1-2-3 punch even with Grayson as that third starter.
Well, and that would be very uncharacteristic of Mike Elias to do.
Yeah.
Just realistically. It would be very uncharacteristic of Mike Elias.
And why is that, though? Because we've talked about this. A little quiz. Why would Mike not do that from the track record?
Well, because he just sees so much value in the farm system.
Boom. His value. He doesn't like to overspend.
Right.
Just like you said, it's demand. At the deadline, you get desperate. People get very anxious, stressed. We got to make a move. Impulse. Brad, you're exactly right. Hey, and that's why I like you. You're a good kid.
Sometimes I know ball.
Sometimes you know. Well, apparently,
I
sometimes.
think it's a shirt. I think the shirt is like unleashed Brad's powers, and that's why he's making so many great points right now. But Mike Elias, to his credit, he's been a part of a World Series team. He's built a World Series champion or helped build a World Series champion in Houston. Yeah, exactly. Listen, we say that, but he was one of the constructors of that roster.
Yeah.
He knows what it takes. At the end of the day, obviously all speculation, and we're going to speculate the hell out of this trade deadline because that's what we do. But Mike Elias is going to put this team in the best position possible to win a World Series this season, next season, and 5 years down the line as well. He's that good at what he does.
I agree. And Kevin, do you have a mini question that you want to stir the pot with over there?
I do. I'm feeling spicy today. Regardless of the prospect haul that the Orioles would have to give for somebody, and any of you guys can answer this, would you feel like the deadline was a disappointment for the Orioles if they only made one trade for one player?
Yeah, I would. I mean, and that's just me as a fan. Player? One for one.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if it's Skubal, if that's the only move, like that's still they got Skubal.
Yeah,
like,
but like you're gonna have to give up a Jackson Holiday for Skubal. That's the asking price. So I would still be bummed about